I want to talk about some subtle signs that people go through when they're facing anxiety. You know that anxiety affects like over 40% of the population. And a lot of times we don't even understand that we are actually having the symptoms of anxiety and we don't even know it. So, number one, a lot of times when you are like in a situation where you're talking a lot and you're starting to overshare and then you're starting to second guess what you're saying, but you keep talking, a lot of times that might mean anxiety. But that's not DSM 5, right? Symptom, but that is something that I've noticed with people who actually have anxiety because they're trying to figure out everything in their mind as they're talking. And then when they're talking, it just is not coming out right to them, or they're not getting the reaction that they want to get from the other person. And they continuously talk. Another thing is, if you're like the kind of person where the day just it drains you, where the day just exhausts the hell out of you, a lot of times that can be that you're dealing with some form of anxiety. Now, there are, let's say that you had several things and tasks to do at work. Granted, yes, you need to be tired from like getting all these things done at work, but there is a point where you should be able to take some time out for yourself and regroup and like have your strength back. But a lot of times we do not get our strength back because we're too exhausted, we're overwhelmed. Or maybe the opposite effect is when you get so overwhelmed, it disables you. There is something that we call like a fight, flight, or freeze. And a lot of times when people have extreme anxiety or they have a disorder, it can either make them fight, flight, or freeze. I am that kind of person. I am diagnosed with anxiety. And the one thing I've learned about myself in all these years, especially now that I'm doing more holistic techniques, is that you really do have to pace yourself when you are dealing with stressful situations, because I freeze. Like I get so overwhelmed, I procrastinate. And that is like the biggest thing I've battled with this whole time. Another thing is when you are constantly like clenching your jaw or clenching your fist. I actually am a fist clencher. Sometimes I do it when I'm in a conversation that's maybe a little tense for me, but I tend to do it quite a bit when I'm just standing and I recognize my body and I'm like, why are you doing that? It's okay, relax. And I have to actually physically tell myself to relax. Now, some people might clench their jaws, and a lot of times they wear those mouth guards so that they don't mess up the teeth, right? Another thing is when you're overthinking like really small decisions, you got to like you replay. And another thing is like when you're always like overthinking, I think it cut off. So when you're always overthinking things, like it's almost a life or death situations, that could be a sign of that you have anxiety. And then also, like I am this person and I have flipped it in a way that does help me, but I'm not gonna lie, I need background noise. Like a lot of times when I am working, I either have it in my ear if I'm in a place that has other people around, and I'll have the music in my ear, or I'll have something like a podcast in my ear while I'm working. So I'm typing, getting things done, getting tasks done, even calling people in between, and I'll have something in my ear. A lot of times, hey girlfriends, our best girlfriends, a lot of time, if you have a job that you're in a position where you have your own office, you can easily call your girlfriend, have her in a Bluetooth in your ear, have your homeboy in a Bluetooth in your ear, and you guys are on the phone together the whole time. That is actually a sign that there might be some anxiety there. And that is because you have to have background noise or something going on in the back of your head to like mute the conversations that you would have in the back of your head if there was no other noise. Also, when it comes back to like procrastination, okay, procrastination is a big thing. So procrastination or delay, like delayed goals, a lot of times that can be either depression or anxiety. But when you're actually sitting down and you've managed to get up, get ready, sit down, or go to work, whatever it is, and you've managed to like get ready to start, and all of a sudden you realize, okay, I just read my email and I have not done anything else, and it's been 2 hours I've been clocked in. Like that is a sign that you are possibly an anxious spirit. So there are so many things that, of course, that there's signs to look for. And especially with young kids, a lot of times the ADHD and anxiety is something that goes back and forth with children. But if you see your child, which I think my child has it, but if you see a child that cannot be quiet and cannot calm down and cannot relax a lot of, or cannot sleep, that is some signs that they're either overstimulated or they could have some anxious symptoms that you need to address. So I don't know which one hit home for you, but let me tell you something. Anxiety can be very sneaky, much like depression, and that could be a habit that can just intertwine into your character. So let me know, like, which one you guys deal with. Comment below. Thanks for watching. Yeah, it's me. Sometimes when you think someone else is the problem or something else is the problem, it's just me. So yeah, anxiety is something that a lot of people deal with. And the one way that you can deal with anxiety, well, multiple ways, is to get help. Get information, get educated, possibly take medication if you need to, and then start, implementing more calming and more mindful techniques into your everyday. And that person who is your counselor can easily give you some great stuff to do. The one thing I like to do, drink tea and just sit here and breathe. On my time and my breaks, I just breathe. Because breathing not only controls your heart rate, but it slows down your mind. Because it reminds you that there is not that 2-second thought or that 2-second action that you have to take. You can simply take your time, relax, think about the things that need to be done. And maybe because you've taken that time, you can logically put those in bite-sized chunks. And then talking to somebody is a big thing too. It's good to bounce off ideas off of people who are really good at listening and really good at figuring out exactly what you need. It's always good to have friends and a social life. And then the one I also love, and I actually did it today, and I made sure I do every day. I don't know if you can see, but I already got 8,064 steps. And it's 1 o'clock. And I made sure at least I get my steps in and get my workout in, because this is a lifestyle change. Especially when you're diagnosed with anything, you have to change your lifestyle. And it's not easy, but if you want to continue living, if you want to continue thriving, if you want to continue progressing, then you got to change.